At the start of the movie, we witness a spaceship that is swiftly heading towards Earth. In just a little bit, it arrives and crashes close to a river. After that, a man emerges from the water along with his friend, and this man's name is Cannon. We then discover that Cannon's friend has unfortunately died, although not from the crash itself, as there are large claw marks visible on his suit. Subsequently, Cannon notices a box floating in the river, and it turns out that this box is actually a computer that once belonged to him. Then Cannon extracts the information of the place from the computer where their spaceship was traced. After which, the computer starts transferring all the information of this place to Cannon's brain. From this, we learn that Cannon was actually not a human being, but an alien who had traveled from a distant planet and ended up crashing on Earth. At this point, the computer transfers a vast amount of information, including the language spoken here, directly into Cannon's brain. Following this, he picks up his gun and begins to head towards the forest. As he walks, he eventually arrives at a village. Upon reaching the village, we notice that it has been completely destroyed. Cannon's eyes then catch sight of a door that has large claw marks on it. Seeing these, he realizes that these marks were indeed made on Earth. It absolutely cannot belong to any type of animal whatsoever. Since such a unique animal is found solely on its own planet, suddenly, someone attacks Cannon, causing his gun to drop into the river, and he loses consciousness. Later, we learn the attacker is named Volfric, and Volfric takes Cannon to his village. Then, we witness the village king instructing his daughter to marry Volfric. However, his daughter, named Kriya, firmly declines the marriage proposal. Meanwhile, Wolflick arrives and informs the king that our neighboring village is completely destroyed, and we have no idea who attacked. However, from that point, we have captured an unidentified man. Upon hearing this, the king requests to question him. Subsequently, Wolfric approaches Cannon and inquires about who was responsible for attacking that village. Cannon responds by explaining that the village was assaulted by a monster and he was in pursuit of it. Upon hearing this, Wolfric begins to laugh. Then, Cannon launches an attack on them and attempts to escape, but those three manage to catch him once more and restrain him there. That very same night, we witness a sudden and terrifying event. The same monster launches an attack on their village. In this brutal assault, many villagers tragically lose their lives. The monster, after causing such devastation, departs from the village, but not before taking some of the villagers with him. In the aftermath of this horrifying incident, the village king summons Cannon. He urgently inquires of Cannon, asking who this attacker is and what information he possesses about this fearsome creature. Regarding this, Cannon explains that our people refer to that creature as Morven. He stowed away on my spaceship, which unfortunately crashed near your village. Morven is an extremely dangerous monster who kills anyone that crosses his path. Despite Cannon's warning, no one initially believes him. Then Cannon suggests that if they want to defeat Morven, they should bring him along. So, the following day, they decide to take Cannon with them and head into the forest to search for Morven. Then they move a bit further into the forest and come across a cave. Upon entering the cave, a massive bear suddenly attacks them. The bear is about to kill the king when Cannon arrives just in time and thrusts his sword into the bear's stomach, causing the bear to die immediately on the spot. Seeing this, those people start liking Cannon, and their respect for Cannon also increases. Now all of them throw a party and celebrate the joy of killing the bear, because they thought that they have killed the morbid. Then the same night, King Gunnar of the neighboring village attacks their village because he thought that they have attacked his village and killed his people. And now, a war starts between these two villages. Then Gunnar starts killing everyone one by one, but the people of this village are not able to kill anyone. The people overpower and kill many of the Gunnar's men, forcing them to flee into the forest. Then after some time, when they are in the forest, the monster attacks Gunnar's companions. Then Gunnar also goes to fight with him, but when Gunnar sees that terrifying monster, he along with his companions starts running back towards the same village. And then the people of that village also see the monster coming towards them. Then they are convinced that it is not a bear, but something more terrifying than that. Seeing which the king gets very worried and asks for help from Cannon to kill that monster. on which Cannon says that now we will kill that monster. We plan to trap and kill him. The next day, he digs a large pit near the village and fills it with oil. His plan is to make Marvin fall into the pit, then ignite it to burn him alive. Later that night, he shares his past with Cannon Freya, revealing he's from another planet with advanced technology, and they wanted to boost their population. That is the reason we discovered a planet inhabited by millions of Moans. We attacked that planet and exterminated all the Moans by deploying a nuclear bomb. After burying Marvin's body, we relocated people like us to that planet, and I moved there with my family. However, one day, as I was heading out for my mission, we learned that a Marvin had survived. After our departure, he infiltrated the place and massacred everyone there, including my family, which made him extremely furious. He becomes very emotional. After that, Cannon and Wolfik head out on a quest to search for Morwen. Cannon then throws a torch into the forest, and in the torchlight, they finally spot Master Morwen. Morwen then starts moving quickly towards them with the intent to kill, which leads him to fall into their cleverly set trap. As soon as he falls into the oil, the villagers quickly ignite the oil with an arrow, causing a massive explosion to occur right there. The fire spreads everywhere, making everyone believe Marvin is dead, so they start celebrating. But then another Marvin, the child of the same Marvin, appears, causing all the women to flee. Raja, seeing this, goes inside to save his daughter Shreya and fights the Morbid. Meanwhile, the fire doesn't affect the Morbid, and he comes out, attacking the people there. On the other hand, we observe that in this whole scenario, the king meets his demise, and the entire village faces destruction. Following this, the next day, everyone begins to depart from the village. However, Cannon, Wolfric, Frame, and some of their companions remain behind with the intention of killing Morven. They discovered that Morven's child had arrived there through the well. Yet, they realized that they could no longer defeat Morgan using ordinary swords. Consequently, Cannon decides to take Wolfric and Freya with him to the river, where the location of his spaceship had been traced. And then Cannon takes his ship underwater and retrieves a piece of iron used to craft strong weapons. After that, they enter the well, reach a cave through the water, and are attacked by Morven's child, causing their companions to die. Shortly after, Cannon notices that Morven had gathered many people there. Once more, that Marvin child approaches Freya to kill her, but she kills the Marvin child with Cannon's sword. Then all three of them exit the cave. In this scene, he targets the great Warren Buffett. As a result, Trick ends up losing his life. Following that, Cannon launches an attack on Morwen, leading to a fierce battle between the two. The fight continues for quite some time, and eventually, Marvin finds himself hanging from the hill, clinging to Cannon's hand. Cannon, in a desperate move, uses his sword to cut Marvin's hand, causing Marvin to fall from the hill to his death. After these events, both Cannon and Morwen manage to escape from that place and make their way to the top of the hill. Once there, they also catch sight of the villagers below. Those who were traveling by boat, both of them call them back. Following that, Cannon returns to his ship where his tracking device had been activated. As a result, people from his own planet were now on their way here to retrieve him. However, Cannon becomes concerned that these individuals might attempt to take control here, just like they did on Marvin's planet. Therefore, he decides to break the tracking device using his sword, causing his people's spaceship to turn back. Then Cannon becomes the village king, marries Shreyas, and the movie ends.